Good morning from Gavin Emmett at the Algarve International Circuit. We are just a few kilometres from the coastal city of Portimao and ready to bring you the Portuguese Grand Prix. Just a few more moments and we'll switch to the starting straight for the Motogp class race. We're moving to the live feed on the starting grid where everything is now ready for the start in just a few moments. Fabio Quartararo is the big favourite, starting from first place on the grid.
Uncharted territory circuit, the beast on pole, it's lights out and we are racing in the sprint here in Portimao. Bastianini did not get away well at all from that pole position, he couldn't get the front wheel down. Vinales leads it into the first corner from second. Miller did make the lightning start on the KTM, fifth to second for the Aussie, but the beast getting proper bashed around here.
Some real contact there. Alex Rins was trying to go around the outside and got beaten up. Marquez is coming through, he's up at least a couple of places as the Ducatis go side by side into turn number 3. It's Bagnaia up into second place.
I think there was a nudge there between Martin and Vinales as well, coming through that real tight first gear, turn 3, down to just 60 kilometers an hour. Bastianini already trying to recover lost ground. He picks up Martin in turn 5, and Martin ran wide, and Marquez sweeps on through as well. This has been a real poor first lap so far for Jorge Martin, who started third.
Really different fortunes for those heavyweights on the third row, as we've seen Marquez going forwards. Quartararo and Acosta went backwards. They are 10th and 11th. Aleix Espargaro has passed them both.
Deja vu, it's like a rewind. 2023, Jack Miller at the front of the TSO sprint. Almost half a second clear he was through the first half of this opening lap of 12 here in Portimao. Just under half a second he was clear of Bagnaia. Now the two former factory Ducati teammates will slug it out at the front. Miller now into the bottom gear, turn 13, down to just 65 kilometers an hour. Bastianini's gone wide again, and Marquez will surely pick him up and move through. He certainly does. The 93's been super aggressive, as we knew he would be on this first lap.
And that spells danger for the competition. Marquez has already done half of the work to get himself from his 8th place on the grid up to the front. We're looking backwards from the 93 as we come on to the start-finish straight. Jack Miller has 0.4 of a second of a buffer back to Bagnaia, so he shouldn't be under threat into turn 1, but plenty going on behind them.
So Bastianini started from pole, he comes over the line 5th. Martin was 3rd on the grid, he's been pushed back down to 6th on that first lap. Aleix Espargaro is flying on the inside of his good friend Alex Rins with factory Yamaha there in the first corner as they tough it out for 8th place. Aleix Espargaro did actually get the Spaniard, so he's starting to work his way back through the field as well.
So Q already forming up behind Jack Miller. Pedro Acosta was going wide there in the back of the picture. He's just overtaken Fabio Quartararo. They're battling for 10th place just outside the points as Vinales shapes up on the back of Bagnaia. He's very much still in the mix. Miller going wide, but that is a sort of deceptive line through turn 5. He's able to fire it out on the exit.
Yeah, he looked like he was just going a little bit hot there, was Jack Miller. Didn't manage to scoop it all back up. He's coming under increasing pressure. In the sprinting Caton Ducati debut a couple of weeks ago, already quickly down to business. 1:38.893. Marquez already up in a P3.
Surely he's going to have to try and attack Miller as soon as he can, but he's going on the defensive instead. Beautiful move from Maverick Vinales. Marquez back through on the way out of there. Marquez will be well aware that Bagnaia's pulling away.
Somebody's down at turn 3. It's on the picture. It's Alex Rins. I thought it was a blue Yamaha. Unfortunately, it is Alex Rins who's crashed out of contention. So Vinales had a dive bomb there into turn 3, didn't he? On Marquez, it's turn 3 where Alex Rins has gone down. Unfortunately, his sprint is over.
So Miller trying to hold on to the back of Bagnaia and stop him getting away. Marquez, as mentioned, will be keen to ensure that if Bagnaia does bolt, that he goes up the inside or goes through quickly. This was Bagnaia spotting a gap as Miller tried to take that wider line into 15, and Miller couldn't turn it in because the factory Ducati was in his way.
Clean as a whistle, wasn't it? Here comes Marquez. Now he's picking up Jack Miller. That's nice. That came from a long way back, didn't he, on that Brazilian Ducati. Just building the confidence, building the trust, and crucially building the speed, isn't he, on that GP23 is the number 93. So Jack Miller getting a bit bars around on this lap now, back into 3rd. He's got Vinales to contend with behind him now. And
the reason Marquez was doing that was because in 9th place, yellow flags are out again. This time it looks like Johan Zarco's gone down as he plummets to the back of the field.
It's been a poor start to this sprint for Marco Bezzecchi. He started 6th, yeah, Zarco. That's on the exit 5, isn't it, as he lost the front going in. Well, the rear just stepping out as he probably just picked up the gas there, Johan Zarco. Tough weekend continues for all the Honda contingent. Marco Bezzecchi, 6th on the grid. He's down, well, he was backdating in 13th. Yellow flags out now in sectors 3 and 4 as Martin comes through on Miller. Can hear the crash bikes in our headsets here. Somebody else, is that Binder?
Stepping gets, but it's Brad
Binder's
Binder.
gone
The
down.
KTM is down.
Yeah, Binder's down at 13. So Brad Binder, I just saw that orange. I thought he was at 33. So Brad Binder's had a shocking Saturday here in Portimao. He crashed in Q2. That dumped him 10th on the grid. There was confirmation of your Digi crash, but it was Binder down at a lucky turn 13. You can't, at this early stage of the season, be losing all that momentum you picked up with a double podium in Qatar.
Yeah, second in the World Championship, of course. He won't be there for long. Last time around, Marc Marquez was a 10th of a second quicker than Bagnaia. Acosta through on his good friend Aleix Espargaro. He's up into 7th place now. It's like Qatar all over again.
How is it possible to make such weird and wonderful shapes on that RC16 that Pedro Acosta does? Whatever he does, he just makes it fit. He forces that bike on the front end into the corners. He said in Qatar that he's not had trust in the front end of a motorcyclist. Marquez, he's going to do really well. He's going to do really well to keep that on the tarmac. He does just about recover it all up, but Vinales sweeps on through. He was nearly down there, wasn't he, Marquez? All out of shape, all out of control, going downhill into turn 5. He's done well to stay upright there as Marquez into P3.
Very useful breathing space that for Bagnaia, because Marquez was coming at him, having closed the gap down to half a second on the last lap. It's now Bagnaia with a 9/10 cushion over Vinales. Surely Marc Marquez.
No sprint win the last 10 for Bagnaia. Got to go all the way back to last August in the Red Bull Ring in Austria, but he's trying to set that record straight, and he's in a great position here. He's already set the platform up here, built the base for what should be another sprint victory, because Vinales and Marquez are over a second further back. We're looking back briefly there to the 89 bike of Jorge Martin. It's looking unlikely that there'll be an 11th sprint win for him. Back-to-back wins to kick off 2024 with wins in the sprints, but there is Bagnaia checking out in the distance.
Yeah, the lead is 1 second. The crucial thing here is how long it takes Marc Marquez to get through on Vinales, and whether Marquez will have enough in the time that remains to close back in on Bagnaia, as he was starting to do when he had that moment into turn 5. He's actually going to lose another one here as Martin puts some serious manners on Marc Marquez. That's a statement overtake, isn't it, from the Martinator? Back up into the top 3.
Excuse me, Mark, coming through, whether you like it or not, that was proper aggressive, wasn't it, by Martin? That is not an easy corner to make a move where down to the bottom gear, first gear, 75 kilometres an hour, and he made it look like he was shelling peas. Martin then through on Marquez. Now then, what can he do about reining in at Maverick Vinales? Vinales has just set his best lap of the sprint. In turn, so has Martin. 38.790 from Vinales, a 38.8 from Martin. Bagnaia just keeping that buffer around 9/10 of a second, and this is where he's so good, isn't it? At defending that sort of 9/10, 8/10, 1 second lead. He can just run his rhythm, run his pace, not have to worry about tyre pressure or tyre as a Repsol Honda rider.
I'll tell you someone who'll be really disappointed with how this sprint is unfolding, and that's the pole sitter. Anea Bastianini down in 6th place. Of course, led very briefly off the line and hasn't really threatened getting back to that point since. He did a 1:39.6 last time around. He was the slowest rider in the top 14 last time around, as Martin sets a 38.4, fastest lap of the sprint by some margin, half a second and change quicker than the leader. Quarters of a second and a second, and you kind of fancy that Bagnaia will be comfortable as long as it's Vinales second on his pit board. If that changes to Martin, then Bagnaia might start getting a little more concerned.
Oh, how hard is Vinales having to push to keep that second place?
In a few minutes, the top 3 riders will arrive for their well-deserved podium ceremony. In the meantime, let's take a look at the Motogp race final results. We're heading to Parc Ferme with the live coverage where the 3 podium finishers have just arrived. The winner is over the moon, and quite rightly, indulging in a few celebrations with his team. Well, the end credits have now rolled on this Grand Prix, with the top 3 taking to the podium for the customary prize-giving ceremony. It was an exciting race, and these 3 champions gave us absolutely everything.